3 devices, 3 different treatments. Imagine setting 3 microneedling devices to exactly 1.0 millimeter. A dermaroller, a derma stamp, and an electric pen are each set to the same depth. On paper, all 3 should create the same treatment. But they do not. One sweeps needles through the scalp in an arc. One depends entirely on the pressure of your hand. One drives needles vertically at high speed. The number printed on each device may be identical, yet the injury created inside the scalp can be completely different. And this is where most comparisons fail. People ask which looks most professional or costs more. But hair follicles do not know what you paid. They only experience the angle, depth, force, spacing, cleanliness, and recovery time of each puncture. By the end of this video, one device will win for scientific evidence, another for precision, and another for practical home use. They are not the same device. But before we dive into the science, please subscribe to HairLab Explained if you want to understand hair loss through evidence, not myths. Now, let's begin. What the needles are actually doing. Microneedling does not force a dormant follicle to wake up like pressing a button. It creates controlled microinjuries in the skin. Those injuries begin a wound-healing response involving platelets, growth factors, tissue remodeling, and pathways connected with follicle activity. Clinical research has found that combining microneedling with Minoxidil can outperform Minoxidil alone in some patients with androgenetic alopecia. One electrodynamic microneedling trial also reported increased activity in markers connected with the WNT beta-catenin pathway, an important signaling system in hair biology. Think of the scalp as a construction site. The needles do not build the new structure themselves. They briefly sound an alarm, recruit repair crews, and change the local environment. But a useful alarm must be controlled. If it is too weak, little may happen. If it is unnecessarily destructive, the scalp must spend more time repairing damage. The objective is not maximum bleeding or pain. It is a repeatable biological signal. This explains the first major misunderstanding. Deeper does not automatically mean better. In a randomized study comparing 0.6 mm and 1.2 mm microneedling alongside Minoxidil, the shallower depth tended to produce better results. That does not prove that 0.6 mm is perfect for everyone. It proves something more important. The relationship between injury and hair growth is not a simple ladder where every deeper step creates more hair. The Dermaroller, the original contender. The Dermaroller is the device that puts scalp microneedling on the map. In the landmark 2013 study, researchers compared Minoxidil alone with Minoxidil plus weekly rolling. The combination group achieved a much larger improvement in hair counts over 12 weeks. Later studies supported the idea that microneedling may improve outcomes when added to established treatment. That history gives the roller an advantage the other devices cannot erase. It is inexpensive, fast, and connected with well-known early hair loss research. For a short or shaved scalp, its wide cylinder can cover a large area quickly. It works like a paint roller. One movement treats a broad strip. But a paint roller is not a precision instrument. As the cylinder rotates, each needle approaches the scalp, enters, and exits along an arc. The movement is different from a needle traveling straight down and back up. Pressure can also change as the tool moves across the curved head. When hair is long, the roller may catch or pull strands unless the scalp is carefully sectioned. Most rollers also have one fixed needle length. If the hairline, temples, and crown require different levels of caution, the device cannot instantly adapt. Its strength is broad, simple coverage. Its weakness is control. So does that make it obsolete? No. A roller used carefully is not automatically inferior to an expensive pen. The scientific record proves that a simple tool can still be useful. But the roller wins because of evidence and affordability, not because it creates the most precise puncture. The Derma stamp, the quiet middle ground. The Derma stamp removes the rolling motion. Instead of dragging a cylinder across the scalp, you place a flat group of needles over one small section, press downward, lift, and move to the next area. For longer hair, the advantage is obvious. The hair can be parted, and the stamp can contact the exposed scalp without rolling through surrounding strands. It is also easier to target a temple or small thinning zone without repeatedly treating healthy areas. Think of the stamp as a manual hole punch. It is slower than a roller, but every placement is deliberate. Many models also offer adjustable needle exposure, but the stamp has a hidden weakness. Your hand is the motor. The dial may say 1 millimeter, but the actual event depends on how firmly and evenly you press, whether the device is perpendicular, whether hair blocks part of the surface, and how much the skin compresses. A hesitant press and an aggressive press are not the same treatment. And here is the scientific limitation. The stamp makes mechanical sense, but it has far less direct hair loss evidence than the roller. There is no strong body of head-to-head scalp research proving that stamping produces more hair than rolling or automated needling. Its case is built mainly on placement, reduced hair pulling, simplicity, and control over small areas. That may still make it the smartest compromise for many home users, not because it is proven to grow the most hair, but because it may be easier to use conservatively and consistently. The electric pen. Precision with a catch. The electric pen appears to solve almost every limitation. A motor drives a disposable needle cartridge rapidly up and down. The user can usually adjust needle exposure, speed, and treatment area. The needles are applied more vertically, and the device can follow small contours more precisely than a wide roller. This is the sports car of microneedling. Faster, adjustable, and more controllable. Automated and electrodynamic systems have also been used successfully in clinical studies of androgenetic alopecia, including trials combining them with Minoxidil. But a sports car does not make every driver safer. It magnifies the skill of the operator and the operator's mistakes. A pen can create a controlled procedure in trained hands. At home, its speed can make it easy to perform too many passes, stay too long in one area, or treat irritated skin before it is recovered. Adjustable depth can become an invitation to keep turning the dial upward because deeper feels more serious. The disposable cartridge is a hygiene advantage only when it is truly new, sterile, compatible, and discarded after use. Reusing cartridges, sharing devices, or using questionable needle heads removes that advantage. The FDA lists possible microneedling risks including redness, discomfort, bleeding, crusting, pigment changes, and infection. It also states that it has not cleared microneedling devices specifically for treating hair loss. The pen wins the engineering contest, but it also creates the largest gap between what the device can do and what an untrained user should attempt. The depth illusion. Now we reach the most important part of the comparison. A needle length setting is not a perfect measurement of the wound created inside the scalp. It tells you the available or exposed needle length. It does not guarantee that every needle enters tissue to that exact depth. A roller arrives at changing angles. A stamp depends on hand pressure. A pen depends on pressure, speed, cartridge movement, passes, and contact. Hair can block the device, skin can compress, and scalp contours vary. Even two passes over the same area may not create identical punctures. This means two people can both say, "I microneedle at 1 millimeter, while performing biologically different procedures. One may be producing light, scattered punctures. The other may be repeatedly traumatizing the same area. The number sounds scientific, but without technique and control, it can create an illusion of precision. And this is the wow moment hidden inside the entire debate. The device does not deliver a depth by itself. The device, the scalp, and the operator create the real treatment together. It also explains why copying someone else's setting from a video is unreliable. Research protocols vary in device, depth, frequency, number of passes, treatment endpoint, and timing with topical medication. There is still no universally accepted protocol that is ideal for every scalp and every patient. The fact that trials using different depths and devices have produced different outcomes shows why one universal number cannot be treated as the answer. More blood is not proof of a better session. More pain is not proof that the follicles received a stronger growth signal. Which device actually wins? So now we can finally answer the question. If the question is, which device has the strongest historical evidence in hair loss studies? The Dermaroller wins. It is affordable, fast, and connected with landmark androgenetic alopecia research. If the question is, which device offers the greatest mechanical precision? The electric pen wins. Its vertical motorized action, disposable cartridges, adjustable settings, and ability to follow contours make it the strongest professional tool in trained hands. But if the question is, which device offers the best practical balance for a cautious home user? The Derma stamp may win. It is easier to place between longer hairs, less likely to tangle them, suitable for small zones, and less mechanically aggressive than racing a pen across the scalp. That is a practical judgment, not proof that stamps produce superior hair counts. So the final verdict is, best scientific history. The Dermaroller. Best professional precision. The electric pen. Best practical home use balance. The Derma stamp. The final winner is therefore not one universal device. It is the device that gives the user the greatest safe control. For short hair and broad coverage on a limited budget, the roller remains reasonable. For longer hair and targeted home use, the stamp may make the most sense. For clinical use and maximum procedural control, the pen is the strongest option. But none of them treats the entire disease. Androgenetic alopecia continues because genetically sensitive follicles respond to androgen signaling over time. Microneedling may support growth and improve the response to treatments such as Minoxidil, but it does not replace a strategy for the underlying progression of pattern hair loss. If you're looking for trusted hair loss products or personalized treatment options, you'll find carefully selected resources in the description below. The most important lesson is not to choose the device that can create the deepest, bloodiest, or most dramatic session. Choose the one that helps create a controlled and repeatable treatment without unnecessary injury. The scalp does not reward aggression. It rewards the right biological signal, followed by enough time to recover. Because every answer leads to another question. Millions of people now claim that rosemary oil can work just as well as Minoxidil. But that belief comes largely from one famous study. In our next video, we will uncover what that study actually proved, what it did not prove, and whether rosemary oil is truly a realistic alternative for hair growth. The answer might completely change the way you think about natural hair loss treatments. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe to HairLab Explained. I'll see you in the next video.